The Michigan Dogman is a werewolf-type creature first reported in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. Sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula. In 1987, the legend of the Michigan Dogman gained popularity when a disc jockey at WTCM-FM recorded a song about the creature and its reported sightings. The first known sighting of the Michigan Dogman occurred in 1887, when two lumberjacks saw a creature whom they described as having a man's body and a dog's head. In 1938 in Paris, Michigan, Robert Fortney was attacked by 5 wild dogs, and said that one of the 5 dogs walked on 2 legs. Reports of similar creatures also come from Allegan County in the 1950s. In 1961, a night watchman was patrolling a manufacturing plant in Big Rapids, Michigan, when he saw a peculiar figure. At first he thought it was a person until he saw the dog-like features. He pulled out his gun and was about to shoot when he remembered his camera, and took it out and took a picture of the horrific beast. The photos haven't been analysed yet, and the photo still remains an unsolved mystery. One witness claims a creature best described as a dogman was stalking up the hill behind their house in the late fall of 2001. They said the following: "My stepdaughter and I was looking out our French doors to see a creature that was black in colour. It was big and had the head of a wolf. While that was the first and only visual the Cass County, Michigan residents experienced, they can still hear it splashing around the 20-acre swampland at night. Sometimes they can even hear it shrieking. According to them, it has the scream of an infant, loud and hysterical." The Cheyenne established their own group of warriors known as the Dog Soldiers or Dogmen. Native Americans would spend years studying or becoming one with their spirit animal, taking on the mannerisms and strength of wolves or wild dogs. Allegedly, all the dogmen were killed off by the US Army. However, according to lore passed down to them by the elders, not all of them died. According to legend, some of the dogmen actually shapeshift into dogs and now roam the woods and swamplands. It's worth noting that while all witnesses of these half-dog, half-men beasts admit to feeling terrified, there haven't been any known deaths or physical attacks attributed to a dogman. This is thought to be because of the Indian belief that one must invite evil into themselves, therefore the creatures cannot harm you unprovoked. Back in 1938, a 17-year-old claims that while standing near a river in Michigan, he was confronted by a massive black dog. He didn't report his encounter until 49 years later, but he swore the beast reared up on its hind legs and stared him down with piercing blue eyes. Terrified, he shot at the creature and it quickly fled. He remained chilled by the events for years to come, however later stating, "It may be that I was just scared, but I swear the dog was smiling at me." One particular memorable dogman account came from a 13-year-old girl named Courtney who lived out in Reed City, Michigan back in 1993. She decided to sneak out for a cigarette behind her family's house one winter, and she got the scare of her life. She claimed that a glint of light seeping out from the planks of an old abandoned barn got her attention. She followed its movement and it slowly dawned on her that something was there. She realised the 6-foot-tall thing hiding in the barn had the head of a dog, and was staring right at her. She ran off terrified. Later, her neighbour confirmed they too saw a creature out in that barn. They described it as a buffalo-sized dog lurking in the barn. Rhonda, a resident of 3 Lakes in Michigan, had a dogman encounter in the fall of 2009. She was travelling with her son when the beast ran across the highway near Tiger Creek. She said the following: "We were really puzzled and thought it might have been some mutant wolf, and could not figure out what we witnessed." She went on to say the beast ran fairly fast, about 50 feet in front of our truck. It was so strange because the front of it was much higher than the back, much larger than a wolf. She claimed she never heard of the dogman until after this incident. After reading descriptions and stories online, she was able to confirm for herself that the creature she encountered was a dogman. Recently, this photo has been appearing online allegedly showing a dogman. Many who have seen this image have stated that it matches the typical description of the dogman. However, not much information has been released about the photo, making many people question what it actually shows. One person who viewed the image has said the following: "I've captured many strange things on my trail cam, but nothing that looks like this. The most common things I capture are deer, boar and other common wildlife. I'm not someone who believes in paranormal, but these creatures do make me feel uncomfortable." As mentioned, many people have come forward with their stories of the Dogman. In 1938 in Paris, Michigan, Robert Fortney was attacked by 5 wild dogs and said that one of the 5 walked on 2 legs. Reports of similar creatures also came from Allegan County in the 1950s. A woman recently come forward and posted about her encounter with one of these creatures. She said the following: "I live in Gladwin, Michigan, and I believe I encountered one of these creatures. I was walking home from a friend's house one evening when I had the feeling I was being watched. After a few minutes I decided to look over my shoulder, and that's when I noticed a large creature behind me. At first I thought it was a dog, and this made me feel more relaxed, so I carried on with my journey. After a few minutes of walking, I could tell the dog was following me. After looking back a second time, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This creature stood up on its back legs. Fear was the only emotion I was feeling. I managed to run the rest of the way home. Not once did I look back over my shoulder. I have never seen this creature since that encounter." Over the last few years, there have been a wave of werewolf sightings in Brazil. The werewolf is a mythological animal and the subject of many stories throughout the world. Werewolves are, according to some legend, people who morph into powerful wolves. Others are a mutant combination of human and wolf. Recently, locals in Brazil have been witnessing alleged werewolves. This photograph made the rounds, which allegedly showed a werewolf caught on a CCTV camera. These mysterious creatures have also been reported to attack people. 2 attacks by a wolfman or a dogman were reported in Brazil in 2008 and 2009. A woman told police she was attacked on January the 28th, 2009. This was by a big dog that stood on its hind legs and walked like a man. In 2008, police received numerous reports of a half-man, half-wolf that was stealing sheep and breaking into houses. Another witness said the following about their encounter: "It was 11 PM at night and I was walking back to my house. I live in a small village that's surrounded by woodland. In the daytime it's a nice place to be, but at night it can be creepy. While I was walking home I could hear these noises. The only way I can describe them is they sounded like grunts. After this kept happening, I decided to turn around and look for what was making the noises. To my shock, I saw a 7-foot beast staring at me. This creature looked exactly like a werewolf. After locking eyes with it and freezing, I managed to get the courage to run. I ran so fast back to my house that I never looked back once. When I got back to my house safely, I was so relieved. This encounter did affect me though. I didn't leave my house for days and I never ventured out after dark. I truly believe these creatures are lurking in the darkness." Another witness said the following about their encounter: "While I was out in my garden, I could hear noises at my gate. After looking through one of the cracks, I could see a large hairy animal. At first I thought it might have been a large stray dog, but when it stood up on its hind legs, I knew this was the creature that people was talking about. It kept scratching at the gate and making loud noises. I immediately ran into my house. The next day there were scratch marks up my gate. I haven't seen the creature since." Over the years, there have been some strange creatures found in the remote parts of Pennsylvania. One of these creatures matches the description of a werewolf. It's become known as the Mud Creek Road creature. One witness said the following about their encounter: "At around 11 PM, me and my partner were driving onto Mud Creek Road travelling west towards Highway 14 near Troy. As we continued down the road, our attention was drawn to the left side of the roadway. My partner saw some movement and mentioned it to his friend. I initially thought it was a man crawling on the side of the road. My partner slowed down and swerved his truck in the middle of the road and directed the high beams of his headlights towards the subject. He stopped around 30 to 40 feet away. However, we soon realised this was not a person, but instead a creature that was crawling very low to the ground. As we watched, the creature moved into a squatting position with its back completely straight. The arms of the creature were held tightly to its body. What appeared to be long claws that resembled the talons of an eagle were clearly visible. The claws were estimated to be around 8 to 10 inches in length. One claw was shorter than the other 3. The creature had a muscular body. The head of the beast appeared to be oversized, and shaped like that of a wolf. At the top of its head were 2 pointed bat-like ears, and they looked to be around 4 to 6 inches long. The entire creature was covered with dull, wrinkly skin. We could also see large canine-like teeth in its mouth. The eyes of the creature were about the size of a silver dollar, and were shiny black. Though we had our high beams directed at the creature, the eyes did not reflect at all. In the squatted position, the creature seemed to be about 5 feet tall. At this point, the creature was in the left lane of the road about 2 feet onto the pavement. As we watched in amazement, the creature began to stretch its body. At this point, the animal started to stand up on its back legs, while also falling onto its front feet. We would guess the creature was around 6 to 7 feet tall. The animal then fell over on all 4 legs. The front claws of the creature was now 2 feet across the centre line of the highway, while the back feet remained 1 or 2 feet from the edge of the road. The creature then turns its head to the right and looks towards us. It looked as though the creature had a scared impression, like it was panicked. Once it realised it was being observed, it leaned back slightly and then reached towards its front claws. The creature then took one giant leap and cleared a 7-foot embankment, and moved out of sight into a wooded area. The man estimated that leap was about 40 feet long. As it was in the process of leaping, it was perfectly straight, and held its front claws forward. The woman estimated that when it was leaping into the woods, she thought it stood around 9 feet tall. The woman, while reluctant to say it, said the following: "I think it was a man changing into a werewolf." The man, after the experience, went onto the internet to try and figure out what he saw, and he said it looked like a gargoyle with no wings. The man said the following: "I will never forget what we saw that night. I truly believe we saw some type of mythical creature." So what do you guys make of this encounter? Let me know in the comments what you think they witnessed. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.